Ladies and gentlemen,
pros and schmoes,
you are listening to
The Come Up.
Welcome back to another episode of the Come Up podcast on the Advices Radio Network. I am Hailey Delf, and with me is my husband, Ryan Delf, and we are in Puerto Rico.
That is correct. We are in Puerto Rico recording live from our hotel room. So if you hear some crazy Puerto Ricans going in the background or some reggaeton, just deal with it. If you don't like it, don't listen to our show.
Or deal and keep listening. So this show brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. Make sure you use code ADVICES at checkout.
Also brought to you by ForgedNutrition.com. Use code DELF for 15% off at checkout.
Yes, so let's talk Puerto Rico. We've got so much to cover today because this place is fucking wild.
I swear to God, I'm going to kick a fucking bird while I'm here.
Explain that.
They're birds. Okay, first of all, these birds are like fuckboy birds. They all have fucked up haircuts, like a hard part
Smell
and
like
spiked
axe.
up. Yeah, they smell like axe. Most of their names are probably Kyle, getting ready to punch drywall.
Also Chad.
And Chad, Skylar, and Chance.
Those are white fuckboy names.
Yeah.
All right, well.
And when you're eating, they get real close to you. I almost grabbed one
They
yesterday.
do. I wish you would have.
If I really wanted to, I think I could have had
That
it.
was like one pina colada in, so give it another. I think you had that guy.
Mm-hmm. Fuck that bird.
So let's start here. We need to mention one of our friend shows coming up in Iowa, in Dubuque, Iowa. Bill Carpenter. He is the president of the Universal Powerlifting Association. What did he bench once upon a time?
He had a world record for a while, 800 pounds back in the day. That's been broken now, but
Yeah. He's a big dude regardless. But many of our clients are going to be doing this show, first show, second show for a lot of them. So it is June 29th in Dubuque. We're a few weeks out now. So make sure you check that out. And if you're getting ready, if you're in shape, you can still throw your hat in the ring. So think about that.
Yep. To sign up for the show, you can go to upapower.com. The show is called the NPC Mighty Muscle on the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool show. It's newer. I think it's the third year, right?
Third year.
Yeah, third, maybe fourth year. Pretty sure it's the third. But the venue is really cool, and you get treated like a pro at this one. So check it out. If you're in shape, fuck it. You might as well go do it.
Also, I'm an expediter, so you can hang out with me.
And I'll be working security, which basically means stand around and say what's up.
Yeah. The thing that I really love about Bill's show, though, is that he does care about the athletes because he's an athlete himself. And the fucking trophies and shit that you win are not like $7 plastic trophies. They're really, really awesome. Like a huge fucking tiara, a sword, a shield. I think like
Gladiator.
Spartan helmets.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And not to mention they have, last year Derek Lunsford was the guest poser.
Yeah.
I don't think they're having a guest poser this year. He's going to do something different. But post-show, like an hour after the show, there is an after party right upstairs from the event. And Bill's wife, Molly, makes all kinds of treats, and they have pizza ordered in and a DJ, and it's a good time.
Mm-hmm. It's sick. So let's talk about our experience so far.
Sounds good to me.
We touched down in San Juan. And we're like, wow, this place is already fucking crazy. We get our rental car, and we drive in the direction of our hotel, which is our family timeshare that we're staying at. So we're actually not staying at the host hotel, which is like 5 miles away, like a little more east on the island at the Hilton Caribe, which we'll talk about. But our place, we try to find it, and it's like impossible on the GPS. So we're looking all over on Isla Verde Drive, and we go to this first hotel, and we're like, damn, this is super nice. I really hope this is where we're staying. And we walk inside.
Yeah, well, that's where the GPS took us first. It took us to the Intercontinental Hotel.
Yeah. And we're like, wow, this is so nice. So we walk in. And it was weird because I saw someone that went to high school with my sister.
Just random.
Yeah. So shout out to Mariah. I know you don't listen to our podcast, but that was fucking weird. It's so weird when you're across the globe and you see people from your hometown. So we're like, no, not supposed to be here. So we go to the next door hotel hotel because they're like, yeah, it's right next door. So we go there, and this is the
even nicer. It's El San Juan Hotel.
Yeah, super fucking nice. So we walk in, and they're like, no, you're not supposed to be here either. And we're like, oh fuck. So we go next door, and our hotel's, I mean, it's all right. It's a pretty nice place, but it's more of like a condominium, which is like how timeshares work. But it's definitely not like the ESJ or the Intercontinental.
Yeah. This hotel or resort is nice. It's fine. But compared to the first two we went to, we're like, fuck, we're in the ghetto ass one.
Yeah, it's not bad though. And parking's free. So, hey, suck on that, you other two hotels. Yeah, so we get situated. We're like, okay, we need food now because Ryan's obviously competing. So we need chicken, veggies, rice, all that good stuff. So we're like, okay, put Walmart into the GPS. Let's go to Walmart. Holy fuck.
Bro, I felt like, okay, I know we're in Puerto Rico, like, yeah, whatever. But I felt like we were in the fucking ghettoest parts of India or something.
I know. Okay, yeah, talk about you're driving, and I can drive, but honestly, I don't even fucking want to.
Okay,
first of
all, if you're driving in Puerto Rico, don't even pay attention to the street signs. If it says stop, just fucking go. If it says yield, you don't even yield. You don't even know what that means.
No.
Turn signals, fuck, don't use them.
They have speed bumps on every fucking road.
Yeah, but don't use them. Just go. Just ramp those bitches.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's one car coming and you can wait to turn out, but fuck it, let's just pull out in front of that car. Puerto Ricans, you need to learn how to drive.
Seriously.
And guess what? I wouldn't be surprised if you all end up in prison.
Oh my god.
If you go through life the way motherfuckers drive here, you're going to end up in prison.
But Ryan goes, we're driving to Walmart, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Ryan goes, man, I really understand why people get really good at baseball and move to the United States.
For real. I get it. While Puerto Ricans get good as fuck at baseball.
Shout out to Javier Baez.
Yeah. El Mago.
So we get to this Walmart. It's like 4 miles away, right? It takes us like 27 minutes to get there because it's how fucking bad traffic is. So we pull up, and Ryan's like, where do you fucking park? And I'm like, I think we go up this ramp. Like, there's a ramp to get in. It's like the worst fucking turn possible. So Ryan has to turn out in front of everybody just like all locals do. We go up this ramp, and it's terrible.
Steepest ramp. If it was raining, you would not be able to walk up this ramp. The ramp was so steep, you could not get up it. You'd have to crawl like a baby.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So we get up there, we park, and it's like Mall of America parking. Like, if there's one, you better fucking zoom to it and get in there.
But here's the thing: you don't go in this one direction. It's just free for all. You just go, whatever direction you want, whichever side of the road you want.
Yeah. So we finally get this parking spot, and I'm like, okay, let's go inside. So we go to this like freight elevator. It's fucking huge. It's like a cattle car. 1 million people get inside of it, and then you have to go to the next level to actually get to Walmart. And we get in there, it's like a fucking zoo.
I felt like I was in the Spanish version of Idiocracy, the movie.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's a really good way to put it. So we're like finding all the stuff we need. I was like, okay, let's get some turkey. Guess what? Guess they don't fucking eat ground turkey here. So we had to
eat
get
malditas. Masitas. Not little baddies.
Yeah. So we bought some little baddies and found some rice and some veggies, some seasoning, salt, all the good stuff, oatmeal, and then we fucking got out of there. So we went on the escalator that is magnetized, so your cart sticks to the escalator.
Yeah, this Walmart's like 4 stories. Sorry, yeah. I don't think we mentioned that.
No. So we go, we check out, and you have to purchase all the plastic bags that we use. So nobody uses them, but we had like 1 million things. So I think I spent like 50 cents on plastic bags.
And here's the thing too. I don't get very I've been in some pretty fucking shady places and run around with like some low-level Chicago mobsters and stuff. And I'm not and fucking straight up gangbangers. I'm not nervous when I'm with them. But this was the kind of place that after we checked out and had our bags of food with us and people saw us spend a couple $100s on groceries, I felt like this was the kind of place where you could get robbed and stabbed in the parking garage for your food. So I was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
So it's good that we look like we don't fuck around. It's good that we look. People just kind of gawked at us anyways, like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's not many bodybuilders here, obviously, but yeah, we definitely were looked at like the zoo has come to town.
We're going to make shirts. If anybody wants shirts that say welcome to the zoo, like if you get weird looks when you go to the grocery store or shopping, whatever, Hailey and I are going to make shirts that say welcome to the zoo.
And then TCU, the Come Up Podcast.
Yeah, we'll make some. And if people want them, let me know. So when we get them made, we'll get a bunch of them made.
Yep. So we leave Walmart and we go back to our hotel. I think we also went to Planet Fitness this day. Mm-hmm. I have a Planet Fitness membership. I don't fucking believe in this gym, but I will tell you, $22 fucking a month for really good tanning beds, like Ergoline tanning beds, the ones that you can use at Suntan City or any other big tanning place, and you have access all over the fucking world, is fucking worth it. So we go to these Planet Fitnesses, and we also get looked at like crazy. There's like seriously 200 cardio machines, and then like this little room that has weightlifting stuff. So we went to like 3 of them, and they were all the fucking same, just crazy.
And if you're wondering, they do have lunk alarms at Puerto Rican Planet Fitness as well, except it's still just as gay, but it's in Spanish.
Lo que gruñen tiran los pesas o juzgan a otros. Juan está tirando las pesas, luciendo su musculatura en una camiseta sin mangas y tomando agua en un galón. Que lunk. Translate that.
Yep.
So, that was our Planet Fitness experience. And I just want to say that anytime I travel outside of the United States or even south of the Mason-Dixon line, I realize how fucking terrible and slow customer service is in other parts of the world.
The further you go south, the slower it gets.
Seriously. And I think, we're not patient. In like the Midwest and Northerners, we're not patient. Yankees, I should say.
Well, you have one job.
Right.
Customer service. Do it. Fucking do it.
So we're used to things being like very efficient and snappy, and I don't know. When you've worked in customer service a lot too, here it's like, it's island time. Bob Chick said that the other day too at the show. He's like, it's island time. Like nobody's in a hurry and nobody's in a rush. You get what you get when you get it, and you be happy for it. But I ain't tipping for it.
Nope. I mean, you would think, though, you would figure out if you paid attention to your customers and, like, actually kind of attended to them, that you would get better tips.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers do the bare minimum, and they don't even seem like they want to help you.
No, they don't.
They take your order, bring you your food, and when you're done, like 20 minutes after you're done, they'll say, you ready for check?
Yeah.
Fuck, I've been ready. Oh, and by the way, I wanted 3 other Diet Cokes.
Yeah, So now that we've talked about the negative stuff, this place is absolutely beautiful. The view from our hotel is breathtaking. It's super, super blue water, a bunch of palm trees. The sun's been shining almost every day, even though the forecast calls for rain every day. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
Yep. Very nice, very beautiful, but you got to deal with the fucking wild ass motherfuckers.
It's like the Wild Wild West out here.
Hey, I like that. I like the Wild West.
It's nuts though. We've seen like 3 cops, and people just drive fucking nuts. Like on the interstate, people go 20 or people go fucking 82. And
then when the exit's on the right side, they turn from the 4th lane from left. Yeah. On the left to cut over.
It's nuts. So let's talk about the show. Tim Gardner's Puerto Rico Pro and NPC Enchanted Isle Classic. First of all, this show and any Tim Gardner show is awesome. He is one of the best promoters in the IFBB and NPC, I think, because he is just such a nice guy. I think that a lot of people that are running shows or running organizations could learn a lot from Tim and Eileen because they seem very approachable, super positive, really catered to the athletes and make sure that everybody has enjoyment. He was nothing but class and business the whole time, and I think that that's why I'm gonna want to do all of his shows in the next few years. Yeah,
he's super nice. At the athletes meeting, he makes it very clear that it's all about the athletes, and this show is huge for the Puerto Rican community, especially after Hurricane Maria that happened, a year and a half ago or so.
No, they had to take last year off. So the Puerto Rico Pro was canceled last year, and I think they did like something in Hawaii or something. But everybody was wanting to get back on stage, and a lot of the Puerto Ricans, like, they can't travel to the States or wherever the shows are, so this is like their big show. And the prejudging and judging was fucking wild.
Dude, the Puerto Rican fans brought the energy.
It was insane. Like, I wish Americans were like
Yeah,
this.
fans and spectators in the States, we got to fucking up the ante.
We really do.
We got to bring it. This shit was intense.
So there's like bodybuilding for NPC comes out, and there's like this little lightweight, right? His name's like, I think it was like Javier Rios or something. He walks out, and like he honestly, he looks like just a little lightweight that's been training for a couple of years, you know. And the whole fucking crowd goes nuts. Bob Chick is like, "And from Puerto Rico," and then you can't even hear anything else he says because they're going insane. They're jumping up and down. They're recording. They're like screaming, running up to the front of the stage. And this guy on stage is like feeding off this energy. He's like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm fucking Javier Rios. I'm up here as a lightweight. Look at me.
Yep. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the pro placings.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So the pro show started Saturday, and it was a 2-day pro show. So day one, we had figure. That's what led off. So Jessica Reyes Padilla, a Puerto Rican, ended up winning the figure class.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
She's hard as fuck.
Yeah. She just won the New York Pro. So
yeah,
I mean she's got it lined up for
well,
this
she's
year.
on a roll this year. She won the South American Arnold, and then she won the New York Pro, and then she won Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, she stepped out, and the same thing. The Puerto Rican fans went fucking berserk.
And her suit, she was wearing a Puerto Rican flag suit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there were other Puerto Ricans competing in the pro figure division. But it was nuts. Like, Jessica Reyes Padilla is like their queen of it.
Yep. And we have to give a honorable mention to Ivana Vucic, who we've had on our show. She finished second place, looked awesome. I'd say it was a pretty close second, just a very different look.
Yeah.
You know, Ivana, she just looked really good, like she always does. But
you know, I was talking to her a little bit. She's going to come in even harder and drier for Toronto.
Yeah.
This next week, and just looking at her improvements that she's made from last year's Olympia going into this season, it's pretty big. She knew that she needed to step it up a little bit, and she definitely did.
Yep.
So then we also had women's bodybuilding.
Yes.
And that Wings of Strength is one of the title sponsors for this event. So all the Wings of Strength people were here. Jake Wood was here. Linda Murray was here. Alina Papa was here. And they were talking a lot about what they have going on this year with Wings of Strength. So they also are going to do the Romania show, which is really big because that's where Alina Popa is from. And they're also a sponsor of the Olympia this year. So I think that's fucking great. Like, Linda Murray was talking about it up on stage. She's so excited. She's an 8-time Miss Olympia, and for them to get back into that venue, even as a presenting sponsor, is huge, because that's one step closer for them to bring female bodybuilding back to the Olympia stage, which I think is a huge goal for them.
I think there might be some workings like behind the curtain right now. I mean, if Wings of Strength is a sponsor for the Olympia, and the reason they kind of pushed them out beforehand was, it was getting too masculinized, right? But if you look at who's been winning lately, Alina Popa, she's smoking, if you ask me.
She is.
And then the winner of this show here in Puerto Rico, Jessica Martin, she turned pro at USA's a couple years ago in physique. Yeah. And then she went and did physique, but they were saying, she's too hard or something, too big. And but she's still very feminine. I think she looks good. She looked awesome at this show. I
mean, looking at that lineup, there were a lot of really good female bodybuilders, and she was not the hardest.
No.
She wasn't.
Well, she was pretty damn hard, but she was not the biggest.
She was hard, but if you looked at them from the back, I mean, she didn't have fucking cutout glutes like some of the other girls did.
Yeah.
And I think that level of conditioning, and it kind of goes hand in hand with your stage presence, and the amount of beauty and femininity that you bring. And I think that's the message that I'm receiving anyways, whether they want to send it or not. But Jessica Martin looked really good, and we're happy for her. So she'll be heading back to the Rising Phoenix, which is now the World Championship of Female Bodybuilding. And even though I think that getting back on the Olympia stage would be a big deal, the fucking winner of the Wings of Strength Rising Phoenix gets $100,000 in a brand new fucking Corvette.
Yep.
So
it might be better to
so that's pretty cool.
Stay on their own.
Yeah.
Who knows? But no, she looked awesome. Congrats.
212.
Yeah, there was 212. There was another men's. Did Classic go that day?
Yep.
Yeah, Classic. Let's go to Classic first.
Okay.
So everybody thought Santi Aragon was going to win the 212 show here. He looked really good, but he finished second. First place was Giuseppe Christian. How do you say his last name? I can't read your writing there. Zaganelli. He was from Italy.
Yeah, that dude looked great. His proportions were just nuts, though. Yeah. And Santi's looked really good too.
Arms are just like really short for his body.
He's just not. The proportions are just different. They really are. But the classic lineup looked good. We didn't watch too much of that because Ryan, we had to get going to get home so that he could rest because we had a really early day Sunday. But also 212 went on that same day, and Eduardo Correa ended up winning. The dude in person is fucking ridiculous.
He is complete physique as fuck.
He's so complete, and he's so fucking diced, and he has great stage presence. It was not a huge 212 lineup, but there were a lot of pretty big names there.
Yep. So Eduardo Correa coming down from getting second place at the New York Pro, stepping into Puerto Rico a week later.
Yeah, and there's a lot of controversy going on with the New York Pro with Ahmad Ashkenani beating Eduardo Correa, and personally, I think both of us think obviously Correa looked better.
Yeah, I mean,
we have nobody has any idea what happened.
We weren't there in person.
No,
but
pictures don't lie either. So
not this much anyway.
No. So Correa stepping into this show, I mean, really in person, it was like, what the fuck is that? He looked great.
He's good.
He's good. He's really good. Actually, Ryan was getting tanned with him, and Ryan was like, God damn it. This guy's nuts.
Dude's diced.
He's insane. He's like, God, I don't look very good. Good thing he's pro.
Yeah, we were in the back getting tanned, and he kept telling the tanning people, darker. I need to be darker. I need to be black. And they're like, you're already dark. We can't make you any darker. They gave him like four. They gave him like 4 coats.
Yeah, LSR's like, no, this is LSR. Yeah. Trust us. And then Brett Wilkin, we just had on our show. He did not get the call or the placement that he was hoping for. He ended up in second call. There were 2 calls, but he looked great.
He was shredded.
So he had probably the best conditioning on stage.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the best.
But he's a head taller than all the 212 guys.
Yep. So he did he was a little bit smaller than most of the guys on stage because he's a good 5-6 inches taller than a lot of these guys. And those guys just packed on more muscle. So I think Brett might be in the position where he was last year with Classic, where he's kind of holding himself back a little bit. Whereas maybe after this year, depending on how he does, maybe he should bump up to the Open and just get big as fuck.
This is fucking IFBB bodybuilding too. I mean, they've not seen him. This is literally his first bodybuilding show in the IFBB. So you have to be so fucking good to come in and beat people like Eduardo Correa. And I mean, it was just crazy. That was a really good lineup. And Brett showed up his best. We kind of talked to him a little bit. He said that Matt told him he's never had to feed anybody more than he's fed Brett.
Yeah.
And he just has to work really hard to stay full. And it was fun to watch him. There were also. Are you going to talk about this?
Yeah, we got to give some notoriety to some of the other 212 guys. I think there's a new up and coming 212 future star.
A couple, actually.
And Bo Lewis. This dude, he finished second place. He's massive. He looked really good. And then
Dwayne Walker.
Dwayne Walker has one of my favorite physiques I've seen in a while.
Doesn't he look like he looks like Serge Nubret to me with bigger shoulder girdles?
He's definitely got a little more mass.
But like
than
when
Serge
you look at his
but
face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's aesthetic as fuck. Just like his front lat spread is impressive. Maybe not quite as diced as he's a little more I guess you could call it like old school classic look, a little bit smoother, but he looks fucking awesome.
Crazy. So we also had women's physique go on day 1. So it was not really a very stacked lineup. It was a little more shallow than I was hoping to see, but there was one big name, and she ended up winning. Margita Zamalova from the Czech Republic is a returning Olympian, so she ended up taking it. She doesn't have the smallest waist, the biggest ratios that they seem to be looking for in women's physique right now, but she's fucking ripped, and she's very pretty, and she's very poised on stage. So she ended up taking it. And
yep, she looked really
what
good.
About the rest of it, the other top 5?
Oh, I'm trying to pull them up. Let me see here.
Let's figure.
Okay, here we go. Rashana Boswell. I think she was from Illinois, right? Mm-hmm. She looked really good. Her abs were like diced, and her V taper was insane. Mm-hmm. But I had never heard of her before, honestly.
No. 3rd place. Click on that.
I don't know who this is.
Trisha Vazirian, no idea. She looked pretty good, though. She was really ripped. And then in 4th place was Christina Bittner, and Scott has had John Jewett, who is her coach on Advices before. And then in 5th place, Evangeline Belton, who is a 60-year-old woman who is a client of Shelby Starnes. She competed and ended up taking a 5th place, which is just fucking amazing to me. Like,
yep.
you guys need to go look her up, because if you're like, oh, man, I just had a baby, or oh, my God, like, this bitch is 60 and she's kicking ass.
Yeah.
That's motivating.
It's amazing.
She looks good. So anyways, that's
what else we got?
That's the end of day 1. Day 2, we kick things off with fitness. Big fitness lineup. Like huge fitness lineup.
It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. The winner ended up being Tiffany Chandler. She is a Southern Belle sweetheart. She is super cool. I've interviewed her, or been around interviews with her with HD Physiques before, and she really deserves this. Everything was great. You know, the fitness scoring is so weird because the routine round counts for so much of it, and then the figure round counts for a little bit, but it could sway the way that the judging goes. And Tiffany, she looks great in both of them. She had the most energetic routine for sure.
How do you pronounce her name? Is it Erica? Orica Tirgale. She's a fitness Olympian. Mm-hmm. She finished 4th at this show. Do you remember her routine?
The nun one?
Yes.
Yeah,
so this chick comes out dressed up like an evil nun, mm-hmm. and she's on one of those little hover round. I don't know, those little things you stand on and you can like hover around on them. You know,
a hover round.
Yeah, I don't fucking know what they're called. Little wheelie things.
Yeah.
And she's on there like floating around on stage in her evil nun outfit, and then it was like cool as fuck. It was creepy.
You know, it's based off of a movie that's been out right now, right?
Well, what is it? The Nun?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a preview for that the one time I watched TV.
Yeah, it was good. So fitness.
But that was a badass routine.
Yeah, fitness was good. And then I think we went into men's physique. And no surprise, lucky Libra, Andre Ferguson ends up taking the men's physique title. He looked real good, but the top 3 looked real good. Yeah. You know, they were all pretty black dudes with small waists, looking like they could go out on the beach. But Andre's shape was just a little bit better. You know, he's the returning winner. He'd won the Arnold Classic. So he's going to be getting ready for the Olympia now. And then we went into bikini. And the winner is a 22-year-old Italian chick named Francesca Stoico, and she looked really good. She ended up beating Romina Basualdo, who, just looking at the lineups before the show, I was like, oh, Romina Bass is going to win. Mm-hmm. And just because of her name and notoriety. But this chick, Francesca, was super, super tight. I mean, she looked great, especially for 22 years old. Like, her stage presence was really good. Didn't look like she had any nerves. You know, with bikini, I think that's a huge, huge part of it is how you present yourself. And she, especially for her age, nailed it.
Yep. And Francesca right next to Romina, I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Either one could win it. Whoever they pick is fair, you know? So. Mm-hmm.
And then the big boys, we only had like a 4 or 5
person. There was four.
Four
open bodybuilders.
Yeah, but John De La Rosa ended up taking the cake, and he looked fucking crazy. I was looking at forums and stuff, and I agree. Everyone's saying this is the best John that they've ever seen. He was diced, peeled. Unreal. Yep. And I think that a lot of it has to do with him moving to Florida and training directly with Flex Lewis now. He looked crazy. And I was talking to VJ a little bit too. He's like, really, he was like, I think Milan Sadek could have taken it too. And I was like, yeah, but he didn't look quite as sharp as he did in New York. And that just left the door open for John. And John just fucking slammed it shut.
Well, that dude looked really good, but John's a little bit shorter. And next to, do you pronounce it Sadek?
I don't know.
Whatever.
His name's Milan.
Yeah, next to him, John was just equally conditioned, just as good a shape, just bigger. So I think that's what won it for him.
He was really popping too. Like,
Yeah.
he just had pop on stage. He looked good.
He was just overall fucking impressive.
So let's. That's about the end of the pro show. Let's talk about Ryan's experience and how he's real fucking glad to be done for the year.
Yep. So after dieting pretty much since Thanksgiving of 2018, I'm very excited to be done now. I took first place in heavyweight. So here's the thing: usually heavyweight is 198 and a quarter to 225. Here heavyweight was 198 and a quarter and above. So I weighed in at like 230, and then on stage I was 240. So really I was a super heavy, but it was just considered heavyweight. I was definitely probably about 15 pounds too heavy, but I did not give a fuck at this point. I mean, I wanted to look decent, but
Yeah.
But long story short, I won first place in my class, and I also got last place in my class because I was the only one. But I got a medal that says first place, and now I'm qualified for next year if I want to do it.
Yeah, you did. So, other than the Puerto Rican fans going fucking wild, when Ryan did his overall with 3 other Puerto Rican dudes, the judge, it was Bill Sibilia was the head judge for the pros, and I saw him take a step back when it came to the night show for the amateurs. And this guy was a Spanish speaker, whoever took over for him, and he was giving stage commands in Spanish. So Ryan's lucky that he knows a little bit.
It's a good thing I took 4 years of Spanish in high school and then dated a Mexican chick for 8 years because I understood everything they said. That was cool.
Cuarto a la derecha, cuarto a la derecha, doble bíceps.
Laterales de frente.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Abdominals. Or no, and then what did he say?
Pierna.
Pechos for side chest. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Pechos gigante.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Big chest.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was cool. I was like, oh, fuck. But also, Ryan gets mistaken as Hispanic a lot just because of how he's dark.
Especially when I have my tan. I don't have like a white guy face, you know?
No, you have super dark eyes. You're super German. That's why. So you can be confused. People, yeah. And when you're landscaping with all the other Mexican guys on the crew, sometimes they just blend you in. But at a bodybuilding show, when you're up there with a bunch of Puerto Ricans,
fair,
you blend in.
Well, and it's okay. I understand probably like if you're going to read me a book in Spanish, right. I would understand about 80% of it. And so I could at least respond to you in English and understand it.
And also, we're in Puerto Rico. The other 3 guys, the winners of the other classes, were all Puerto Rican. So it's fair, I think, because when
you're in a different fucking country.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know what I mean. So, oh well, it was a good thing. You can always pay attention to the people beside you and do what they do anyways.
Yeah. The light heavyweight ended up winning it. I'm guessing he was mid-40s. He said he's been competing for 20 years. He looked pretty good.
His last name was Ortiz. He was fucking hard.
Yeah. He said he was 190. So I had 50 pounds on him, but I was fat. Yeah. I was probably like 8% body fat. And I mean, you want to be like 2, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so now it's off-season time, and I am going to get big as fuck. And I'm also making a return to the MMA octagon in the professional heavyweight division later this year to crash skulls and snatch souls.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that? For those of you that don't know, Ryan wrestled his entire life. Like, I think he was born, and then he got some headgear, and then he went on a mat. That's how long he's been wrestling for.
Pretty much. Yep. And then most of my fights were when I'm 30 now. Most of my fights were when I was 18 to 21. And I went 10-1 as an amateur, and then I started fighting professionally and went 1-3 right off the bat, and then I lost 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of a functioning alcoholic at the time, and I didn't really take it serious.
Yeah.
So now I'm making a comeback.
Getting back into
at heavyweight.
Yep. So that's exciting. I'm excited because you're just so much stronger now that it'll be interesting.
Doesn't even compare. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so while I'm in my bodybuilding off season, I'll still be I'll be fighting, but I'll be bodybuilding as well, and then I'll hopefully, once I plateau for a while, as far as gaining quality tissue, I'll fucking get back on the bodybuilding stage sometime next year.
Yep. I've just looked at my notes and I have a few things written down to talk about here. Everyone in fitness is fucking late, and it pisses me off.
For real.
I'm never late, and I always get to meetings on time, but when you're in the fitness industry, when it says like 8 a.m., they really mean like 8:15, 8:30. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really annoying. So literally everyone is late. And I don't fucking know why. I have no idea why. It's just part of the culture that we're in, but it's fucking crazy.
Also, a lot of the NPC dudes think they're Mr. Olympia.
They really do.
Bunch of fags.
So, Jesus. So
for real.
So Ryan was getting tanned, and I was sitting out in the lobby at the Hilton Creve, and I see this guy. He must have been like an amateur men's physique guy. He probably weighed less than I do, but he had like the hardest fucking part I've ever seen. And like,
did he have the Puerto Rican flag like etched into his hair?
No, just the hard part. But he was like walking around he was like looking for something, and this fucking poor bellhop was following him with a cart, and it had all of his luggage on it, all of his food, it had weights on it, and he's just following this guy around the hotel, like where are we going? And he's like like walking around acting like he's the coolest thing, and I was like, why do we do this? Like, what about this? Is it Instagram? What is it? Everyone feels like they're literally the fucking best.
Hopefully that kid tipped him well.
I doubt it. I fucking doubt it. You know what? That's some of the best service I've seen, too.
Yeah. Here's part of a protein bar.
Yeah, right. So we also met some pretty cool people while we were here. So speaking of Forged Nutrition, Jason Netherland pointed out that we need to meet Bubby Lupo, who is a partial owner of Forge Nutrition. Didn't get the chance when we were at the Arnold or St. Louis or wherever, so he was a co-promoter with Tim Gardner here at the Puerto Rico Pro. We snagged him, met him. Bubby Lupo is a super, super nice dude. He was just like Tim. He cares about everybody that's coming to the show, cares about bodybuilding deeply. So shout out to Bubby Lupo, shout out to Forge Nutrition and Jason Netherland. Really excited to be working with you guys. Nice to meet you.
We got to meet one of our favorite female bodybuilders.
Yeah, well, Ryan got to meet. I've met her a few times.
Oh, you interviewed her?
I've interviewed her, yeah.
I've only been...
We're also Instagram friends.
I was going to say, I've only been internet friends with her.
Yeah, so Isabel Terrell has been competing for quite some time, and we are going to get her on the show relatively soon because she'll be competing in Norfolk, Virginia at a Wings of Strength show there. She's a Wings of Strength athlete. Last year, I interviewed her when she won, I think, the Omaha Pro, which qualified her for the Rising Phoenix, and we got to meet her in person, excuse me. Got to meet her in person, talk to her for a little bit, and she said to me, like, she reached out to me when I was talking about having a coli and how I couldn't compete, blah, blah, blah. She was upset for me because she really wanted to see me compete this year. And that just proves a point to me that female bodybuilders are some of the nicest fucking people in our sport. And they're also one of the most ostracized divisions, which makes me really sad because I get along with all the female bodybuilders so well. And Isabel's probably one of the nicest people I've met in this industry so far. And so, she's prepping, getting ready. She looks great. Her shape is just nuts, like insane. Look her up, Isabel Terrell.
Isabel's smoking.
She's smoking, dude. And she's got such a little waist, and she's so humble. She's like, oh, I don't know if I can compete with these girls. They're so big. And I'm like, bitch, look at you.
Didn't she get second in the world one year?
I'm not sure.
She was up there.
I don't know, but she's been competing for so long, and like recently, she's been working out with fucking Tom Platz.
Yeah.
Fucking Tom Platz. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
See, we'll have to have her on the show and talk about that. Training with Tom Platz.
Yeah, seriously. So shout out to Isabel. You're always super fun to talk to. Well, we hope the best for you. And we also got to meet an IFBB legend, Fabian Orozco.
Yep. Fabian is the coach of one of my buddies and Hailey's friends from back in the Quad Cities, Mauricio Garcia. And actually, Mauricio's getting ready for Junior Nationals right now in the Classic Physique division. He'll be in Class D He got second last year there, and he's looking better this year.
Much better.
Depends who shows up, but he's got a good chance of placing well again, I think. So shout out to Mauricio as well. But I saw Fabian here, and I'd never met him before, and I told Mauricio, I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is your coach, and he's like, yeah, go up and go. That's him. Go talk to him. And so we met Fabian. He was a super nice guy.
What a nice guy.
So nice.
And sometimes you meet people and they're like just around for the fame or whatever. This guy, in the 10 minutes that we talked to him, he just exuded passion.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Well, and wasn't he one of the founders of MHP supplements?
Yeah, that's what I don't know if he was a founder, but he did create some of their product line.
Oh, okay.
He's from Miami, coaches our friend, he's all around judging, and I had on a shirt with Dorian Yates on it. It was like an old golden era fitness shirt, and he's like, oh, you got Dorian on your shirt, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember when we worked out and did blah blah blah, and I was like, holy shit, you worked out with Dorian Yates. Wow. So that guy was super cool. I love meeting people like that have such a history and like a long relationship with the sport, and they really care about it. And he shed some light for me on my situation. Ryan's like, yeah, I'm competing. We're here. Now we're going to be on vacation. My wife, Hailey, she was supposed to make her pro debut here, blah, blah, blah. But she ended up getting a coli. And Fabian was like, oh, well, you don't need to worry about that. We as bodybuilders, we treat our bodies like machines, and then you learn. This is you learning how to not be such a machine. Sometimes you need to just go with it, and it'll pay you back in the end. He's like, but it's not like it ends. It's not like it's over. You have to learn from it, move on, and you'll be better in the future.
Yep. That reminds me too. Before I get made fun of for being fat, the reason I did this show is because we already had it booked, because Hailey was going to do it, so we already had it paid for it.
But now we're on vacation,
and
bitch.
I'm like, fuck it, I'll go compete, So
and we want to do a Puerto Rico wrap up.
Yeah, and now I look good for vacation. So.
Yeah, and I don't.
But yeah, no, it was really cool to meet all those people. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we'll be seeing them a lot in the years to come. Mm-hmm. So
let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with some thoughts and some listener questions.
Ciao.
All right, we are back. Time for some listener questions. So let's start off here. Megan Villainous, chick that I went to school with, she has a few questions for us today. And the first one is, what's the food like in Puerto Rico? Go ahead, Ryan.
The best actual Puerto Rican cuisine we had so far was, instead of fries, when we substituted the sweet plátanos.
Oh my God, sweet plantains. So fucking good.
So good.
It's like pan-fried bananas in sugar.
Yes, so good. That was amazing.
Amazing. The food is interesting here. So they have this dish called mofongo. I still don't know what it is, but it's really fucking popular.
Bob Chicharrillo kept talking about that
I know.
Behind the podium just to make people laugh.
He goes, we know what they say, wherever I go, mofongo. The crowd fucking went wild. Also, speaking of Bob Chick, he's the voice of bodybuilding, the voice of the Olympia. He's the best announcer in the game. But there was one sponsor for the event, Cyclone energy drink, which is a Puerto Rican energy drink,
which would translate to cyclone.
Yeah, and he kept calling it Cyclone, and the Puerto Ricans that were representing the company were like, Cyclone, yeah, Cyclone, and he's like, yeah, Cyclone. And then he turns, he takes a drink of it. He's like, whenever I'm speaking at a bodybuilding event, I can trust the taste of Cyclone. And everyone's like, oh, okay.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But there's we ate at a few cool places. The Mi Casita, the place where we had breakfast.
Yep, if you're ever in Puerto Rico, right across the street from the Intercontinental Hotel
in
Mi
New San
Casita.
Juan.
It's in a little strip mall. Nice cheap breakfast, homemade, good as fuck.
Their toast is like baguette here.
Yeah, that's
It's not real
Puerto
bread.
Rican toast.
Yes, interesting.
My favorite place we ate so far was actually the Burger Bar Puerto Rico.
Oh, which is at the Verdanza Hotel, which is also in New San Juan. It's like half a mile away from where we're staying.
It's definitely in the top handful of burgers I've ever had.
Oh my god, it was so good, and you would never even know it. I'm really good at searching for places to eat, and this place popped up, and I was like, oh, this looks good. And we go in, it doesn't look like anything special. These fucking burgers were so fucking good.
It was amazing.
Insane.
Tonight, we get to go to Ruth's Chris.
Ruth's Chris. Fuck yeah.
Can't wait.
So good.
Friday, we're going to Fogo de Chao.
We are.
Be good.
There's a couple other places on the beach that we're going to go to, so we'll update.
Oh, at what's that hotel? Was this at the Intercontinental as well? The Ocean Breeze restaurant. It's right on the beach, like your feet are in the sand.
That's where we had the sweet plantains.
Yeah, and I had a full pizza to myself, a margarita pizza. It was
literally 12-inch pizza all to
It
himself.
was amazing, and the view's hard to beat too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's because I was sitting in front of you.
Yeah,
That's so
totally.
nice.
That's where I almost grabbed a bird by its neck.
Yeah, that bird was so haggard. I don't like birds.
That bird
My
was
sister
almost-
fucking hates birds.
The bird was almost dessert.
It was so gross. So birds are just gross. I don't know why, but birds gross me out. And my sister's terrified because I think she's been shat on by like 3 birds. But they are fucking scary. They really are.
That's because they're dinosaurs.
They are. Yeah, they have hollow bones. They look at y'all fucking weird.
Anyway, next.
Anyways, I will kick a bird on this trip. Let's see. We can talk a little bit more about food. She also wants to know about eating and training while on vacation. That's a really good question because a lot of people fuck it up. And this is partially why I have a Planet Fitness membership, because you don't always know where or when you're going to be able to find a gym, especially one that's staffed the hours that you want to go. So do your research beforehand if you're looking for a place to train. Or usually a hotel has a good enough gym that if you have some knowledge of what you need to work, you can get your workout in.
Yes.
So there's really no excuse for that. You can do body weight stuff and still get exercise in. Ryan and I have done our cardio walking on the beach every day.
Yep.
Because why not?
Yep. I mean, if you know what you're doing in the gym, you should be able to get a fucking workout in any gym that you're in. It doesn't matter if it's Planet Fitness. There is a powerhouse gym on this island.
Yeah, we're
but
gonna
it's
go.
it's like 40 minutes away, I think.
No, it's like 25. We're
Okay.
gonna go. So eating on vacation. This is another one that people fuck up. They're like, I don't know what I can get. Well, guess what? Especially here, you can get a lean protein source, veggies, and a clean carb source pretty much anywhere that you go.
Again, I've never been to any restaurant that when you ask for just a plain chicken breast and some vegetables and maybe some rice, nobody has ever told me no.
Yeah. Like, sorry, we don't have that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Pollo.
yeah, you could get fish,
Pescado.
Yeah. So you just gotta
beefsteak.
make smart choices.
Yep. When going to like a grocery store or whatever, it is more easy. It's easier to get just like packaged stuff, but you can always rely on like rotisserie chicken. You can rely on tuna packages or tuna cans, anything like that for a protein source. A lot of places always sell protein powders if you're looking for that. What else did we get? I got like steam bags of vegetables, and then also we just got like the steam bags of rice. So if you have a microwave, you're good to go.
Yep.
And another thing, I think like when you're on vacation, a lot of people they're crazy. Like this is where we get labeled as like disordered eaters, or we have eating disorders as bodybuilders, because people are just so afraid to have one meal with their fucking family. If you play it safe during the day, and if you want to have a dinner a couple nights, I think you're all right. You just can't go fucking crazy the whole time.
Right. Yeah, if you're not like competing and you're out and about, fucking enjoy a meal or two on vacation.
I think that's part of why people are like, I just can't live that unbalanced lifestyle. Well, when you're in prep, or even like in your off season when you have to get in all your meals, no, that's not fucking balanced. But if you want to be elite, however, when you have time to enjoy it, don't fucking waste that, because that's when, especially, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but with my future plans, like, yes, I'm enjoying my time in Puerto Rico, because in a couple weeks it's fucking go time again, and I don't want to wish that I would have eaten more sweet plantains.
Right. Fuck yeah.
How do people react to bodybuilders in Puerto Rico?
Well, I can tell you, when we walk down the beach shirtless, a lot of these people have never seen people like us. And it's funny because, yeah, like, I'm bigger and in better shape than the average person, but I'm not a freaky professional bodybuilder. And Hailey, yeah, she's big as fuck right now, but she's not like shredded.
No.
You know what I mean? So,
well, still, they don't see women as big as me anyways.
So I could only imagine if, like, John De La Rosa was walking down the beach with Margita Zamalova. Right. They'd be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is that?
If they look at us like that.
It is cool, though. There have been several people. Like, we had a waiter the other night. He wasn't even waiting on us, but he came up to us when we were about to pay our bill, and he's like, hey, like, can I ask you guys some advice on how to gain weight? He's like, you guys are bodybuilders, right? And we're like, yeah. Some guy on the beach yesterday, he's like, hey, do you guys bodybuild? And we're like, yeah. He's like, that's so cool. I love bodybuilding. There've been a lot of people that will look at us like, oh, musculoso or whatever. They're like, that's crazy. They just stare. But a lot of people have been like, wow, that's so amazing. It's not like the U.S. where people are like, oh, God, like, I can't believe how many chickens you slaughter on a daily basis to look the way that you do. Here it's like, wow, you're more of like, wow, you guys look like athletes. It's not so much, wow, what are you doing to yourself? Yep. So that's pretty cool. Not at Planet Fitness, though. At Planet Fitness, you're a wonk.
Yeah, Planet Fitness is still the judgmental zone if you look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, and UC Suma, Matt Marshall, he wants to know what's next for both of you. Well, we kind of mentioned for Ryan that he's going to be getting back into the octagon. We will keep you guys up to date on that, because I know when it comes to bodybuilding, a lot of our listeners, they fucking know what goes into a prep, what you have to do, cutting weight, yada yada. MMA is completely fucking different. So yes, Ryan has to be under 265?
265.
Which hopefully that's not fucking hard to do.
No, hopefully I'll be right around there.
Yeah. So it's different though when you're performing, when you have to perform. You have to get out there and physically hurt someone. So you have to have the endurance, the cardiovascular endurance to beat them, instead of just getting up there looking good, eating a rice cake, and calling it a day. So it's a little bit different. Also, like, when it comes to, like, a quote prep for bodybuilding, it's called a camp for fighting, right?
Fight camp, yeah.
Fight camp. And how long does that usually take?
Normal average ones are 8 to 12 weeks.
And that's like, you do all your cardio, you roll. What goes into that?
Yeah, everything. Sparring gets a little more intense. The closer you get to your fight, your sparring gets a little more intense. And then, like, the last week out, you back off a little bit.
And sparring is just like partner work, right?
Well, I mean, I guess you could call sparring for grappling, like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. If you're going at it, that's sparring. But when I talk about sparring, it's more the striking stand-up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just you do your normal shit. You grapple, you do your jiu-jitsu, you fucking do your cardio, weight train, your stand-up.
So we're going to be focusing on that for Ryan. But he's still going to be lifting and training. He's just going to have to add the fight stuff on top of it. Yep. Because looking towards the future, he's not really had like a long off season.
No, I've had one off season. This is my second season.
Right, and it wasn't even that long of an off season, right?
It was like 16 months.
Yeah, so you made some good progress, but not like this next year's going to be.
I mean, I gained about 30 pounds of stage weight, but yeah, I'm still. Well, we got a question about drugs here in a little bit, but so I'll talk about drugs here in a little bit, but still haven't really gone hardcore on them at all.
Yeah, so
now I want to.
So for me, I'm going to be shooting to compete at the end of this year. So the women's physique schedule is really top heavy. So a lot of the shows have gone by, or they are coming up, that I probably wouldn't be able to make. But as soon as I get back from Puerto Rico, I'll have about 22, 23 weeks until the last show of the year, which is in Long Beach, California. And as soon as, I get the absolute go-ahead from my doctor, then I'm going to start prepping, because I think I owe it to myself not even owe it to myself. I want to challenge myself, and I want to get in the best shape that I can, and I want to fucking do the best that I can and put myself out there in the capacity to win. Because I know how much work I've put in the last couple years to get on stage, and I'm not fucking satisfied. I don't give a fuck that I had E. coli. I don't care that I had to pull out of a show. I don't care that a million things went wrong. I'm going to focus on what can go right, and I'm going to cut weight again, and I'm going to try to get on stage. And if I get in shape and that happens, great. If not, then I'll focus on 2020. But I am more motivated now than I was going into prep to turn pro. And if you knew me then, you knew that I was a fucking robot. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait to get back at it.
You're going to kill it. It's been 2 years since you've been on stage.
Yeah. So
it's fucking time.
Right before we left, I shout out to Tammy, T. Marie Suits in Nebraska. She's a 5-time Olympian. My suit came to me. It's fucking gorgeous. It's green, amazing. I can't wait to wear it. I don't even know really how to describe how I feel about it, because this year's just been a fucking shit show. But we've pulled back on my supplementation immensely, and I'm holding on to all my mass. I can tell that I've gained a fuck ton of muscle, and I'm ready just to get after it again.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for you. I can't wait.
Matt Marshall also asked about a cheesecake orgy.
No cheesecake, just orgy.
Oh my God. He actually hasn't had any cheesecake yet. I'm really surprised.
Oh, the supermarket we went to earlier had
abierto 24/7.
Cheesecake Factory cheesecake, though.
They did. They have a lot of shit here. They have a lot of shit here. That's like American. I was like, how is this fucking here? It's nuts.
It's called airplanes and boats.
Whoa. Okay, what's next? That's you go with questions.
Okay, this one is bodybuilding related, but they want me to talk about quantum physics. So I'm really into quantum physics actually, but we don't have time to go into this. So quantum physics is everything is about protons, electrons, atoms, waves, electricity, energy. And if you're interested in this, and we also had a question about conspiracy theories, because some people know I'm a conspiracy theory nut.
Same.
So if you're interested in this, I recommend checking out Billy Carson. He's a guy, his website is forbiddenknowledge.com, the number 4 and then bidden knowledge. And then also look into holographic light theory. It's pretty interesting.
Where the fuck is the come up going?
Well, I'm just saying, we're not going to talk about it, but if you're interested in that, go check it out. Another question I got, please discuss having more shows in the nations of the Caribbean like Cuba. Well, I would say this Puerto Rico show was really cool.
It was.
There was 115 competitors in the NPC level, I think. So not a ton, but that's not a bad turnout.
There were also around 100 pros, though,
yeah,
which is a decent turnout for an island show.
Yep.
I mean, that's a decent turnout for a fucking pro show in the States.
Yep. it would be awesome if people would be willing to go to them. I think a promoter was going to have to take a chance for the first few years, and they're going to lose money.
I think more and more are going to pop up, though, especially the men's physique, classic physique, bikini division, because those are all on the point system now. Like, you can't win a show and go straight to the Olympia. So these people, like these bikini girls, are, I don't know how, but they're competing every fucking weekend.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that figure and physique and bodybuilding are still, you win one and you're out, because yeah, the level of conditioning that you have to maintain for that is unfucking real.
Yep.
Like, that's one way to promote drug use, in my opinion, because if you want to stay that lean for so long, people like me that are not fucking lean all the time, that's terrible. But the physique and the men's physique, they're gonna have to keep traveling. They are. So yeah, I think that more and more are going to keep popping up, especially in Europe, because like Two Bros Pro events, yep, and then like Wings of Strength with Alina Popa being the European ambassador over there now. I think more and more are going to show up, and that's great for those athletes that live there. But I like the idea of the island shows, because then it's just vacation.
Yeah. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell yeah. My answer would be fuck yeah, do it. But now we just got to get the promoters to do them.
Right.
So, heck yeah. Another question. Arnold Schwarzenegger has recently been known he's publicly emphasized the re-implementation of drug testing in all divisions of bodybuilding. What are the pros and cons of this? Blah, 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 blah. What do you think about the future of the sport?
What?
Well, first of all, I think if they were actually to implement drug testing in the IFBB and the NPC, that would be retarded. There's already natural leagues out there, and do anybody go and watch those?
No.
No. Are there any freaks? No. So if that were to happen,
and no offense, no offense whatsoever.
And first of all, don't tell me what I can do and not do. I think freaking baseball players should be able to take drugs, because here's the thing.
Guess what?
If you can't,
they do.
Well, they do. Yeah. If you can't hit a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, taking a steroid's not going to help you do that anyway. So.
That goes for genetics too. If you have alligator genetics, the most steroids in the world aren't going to fucking help you.
Yeah.
What? Someone trying to get in our room? I hear people in the hallway. I wonder if that's true. Like, do you know that to be true?
I don't know. I've heard some people say...
Because he used drugs.
Yeah, that would be hypocritical, first of all.
Right.
But I've heard some people say it's fake, but I know Generation Iron did a piece on it and stuff, so who knows?
I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Yep.
Can you guys hear those people talking?
I don't know. I can, and I don't like it.
What do you have? What's next?
Let me see.
Find the questions or topics.
I got to go to the other page.
The Come Up Podcast. If you want, give us a follow. You should _come_up_podcast on Instagram.
True that. Question from Ivana of Usage. What foods have I eaten? We kind of already talked about it. Just lots of burgers so far. Lots of burgers, pizza. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pretty much anything carb heavy, Ryan's had it.
Yes, true. Bags of Snickers.
Yeah.
Question from Gabe Swole. What adjustments did you make from the St. Louis show to nail your conditioning? Well, Gabe, I didn't nail this one. But really, I didn't really make any adjustments. We actually upped my protein, kept carbs low. That was about it. And then at the last week, we added in a cup of rice pre-workout, cup of carbs post-workout, and supplementation. Like I said, I'm super low. I literally took 250 mgs of test a week, and I took 400 mgs of Masteron a week. And then the last week and a half, I think I was doing 10 mgs of Halo. Mm-hmm. Oral halotestin. Mm-hmm. That's it. So not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But
anything else?
I'm ready to up it. What else do we have? That's about all I got.
Okay, so make sure if you have a listener question for us that you follow us on Instagram again at _come_up_podcast, or you can find us on Facebook, or one of us, Ryan, is
Tyrant
_killer, and I am at Hailey Delf. So find us there, send us a message, and we can cover it on our podcast. So a couple, actually one topic that Ryan and I were discussing the other day that we thought would be cool to bring up on the show is there's a couple kind of people in the world, and I don't even know where you got this. Explain where you got this idea.
So I saw a Facebook video. I can't remember who it was, but he's like an athletic researcher. And he was talking about there was two people that were brought in. They had the exact same kind of athletic background and capabilities, and they were being put through testing to go and climb some kind of mountain. I don't remember what it was. Some like hardcore mountain. And anyway, these equal people as far as physical abilities went out and climbed this mountain. And after the first day, they made it a couple miles up or halfway up the mountain, whatever. And he said one guy stopped and was like, fuck, I can't wait to keep going tomorrow. The other guy was like, well, fuck this. I'm ready to head back down. And so this researcher concluded that there's two types of people. Like, what makes one person want to keep going and what makes the other person quit? And he came to the conclusion that there's an owl person and a wow person. The owl person is the one that quit. He was climbing up this mountain, and he kept looking down at his feet, and then he stopped for the day and looked up, looked at the top of the mountain and said, holy shit, I got to keep going that far. That's going to hurt. That's going to take a lot of energy and work. So he said, fuck this. I'm done. I'm going home. I quit. He said the other guy, the wow person, looking at his feet all day, climbing up the mountain, stops to take a break. First, he looks over his shoulder, sees how far he's come. Then he looks back up at the top of the mountain and says, all right, I'm getting closer. Let's fucking do this. So by looking back every now and then to see how far you've come, it might give you a little motivation to keep on going. Because otherwise, if you're just the out person, you're done.
Well, especially in this sport, because things happen all the time where you get setbacks. Like there's the line from beginner to success is not linear at all. It's like a fucking weave. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, and then you gradually get to where you want to be, and that's not even your end point. So you have to be able to look back and look forward and accept that it's going to be hard, it's going to be a struggle, but you have to embrace that, or else you're not going to be successful. If you don't enjoy the ups and the downs, then there's really no fucking reason to be headed the direction that you are.
Yep. And I'm nowhere close to where I want to be right now, so like if I wasn't looking back every now and then to see where I started and how much my physique's improved and how much I've learned and how much I actually enjoy this, I could be like, well, fuck this. I'm not winning every show. I don't look as good as I want to. I think I should be better by now.
Don't you think that's a misconception too? Like people honestly think they can just transform, just metamorphosize.
Like in 6 months.
In 6 months, you can go from being this fat fuck to being a top Olympic athlete.
I mean, you can make great progress, but you're not going to go in 6 months from being a fucking normal ass person with average genetics to being fucking professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, you're not going to.
You're not.
Most people, there's maybe a couple people that are just crazy, but they have the genetics to begin with. Like they don't look, They don't look like you.
Right. Well, and that's something. I mean, I already knew this, but it's been really hitting home even more now, recently. Like all these people that look phenomenal. You see their transformation pictures on Instagram every now. They'll leak one out and they're like, okay, this is 2010. Now it's 2019. And their transformations are insane. Or the people that are beating me. I'm like, so how long you been doing this? They're like, oh, well, I'm 48. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm like, oh, fuck, I've been doing this for 2 years. So it's like you got a long road ahead of you.
Right.
So you better have that wow mentality.
It's really a long game. It really is. Especially, I think, on the female side of things where keeping your femininity is kind of a big deal. I don't just want to take copious amounts of Tren every day, and that's not the game plan. I think that we should mention Dr. Scott Stevenson's girlfriend, Lainey Hart.
Yeah.
She won
It's
the
Elaine.
Optimum Classic show in Shreveport, Louisiana, qualified for the Olympia. She looked fantastic.
Yep.
She took last year off, I think because of some health stuff that was going. I don't know. She just wasn't into it, from what I gathered from her Instagram. But she came back harder than ever. And she qualified for the biggest stage. And it just goes to show that being patient and saying, fuck what other people say, I do this for me, your timeline doesn't fucking matter. I move at my own pace and I work as hard as I can. That's what matters. So if you have thin skin and care about what other people think, this sport is not fucking for you.
Yeah.
Not even fucking close.
Good luck.
So that's the point. Like, you can't put a timeline on these things, and there's no level of completion. If you are a bodybuilder, you're never done. Skip Hill was talking about this the other day, too. He made a post where he was looking at a back double of Rich Gaspari, and he's like, this is what I wanted to look like. I've searched forever to figure out how I can look like this. He's like, now I realize that I can look as best as I can, but I'll never fucking look like Rich Gaspari.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, there's always another level to everything, too. No matter how good you are, there's always another level. Even if you're the best, there's always another level that you can go to.
Definitely. I mean, why the fuck do you think Mr. Olympias go hard in their off season? Well, because they have to defend their title next year.
Fact. Yep.
Anything else?
I don't know. You got anything else? I think the Al versus Wow story might be a good way to end this one.
I do like that, but I've also been thinking this. This is my new mantra in life.
Oh, yeah.
don't listen to ectomorphs unless you're an ectomorph. And the reason that I say this is because I'm not someone that stays lean all the time. Actually, it's really fucking hard for me to be lean. Ryan is kind of the same way, but not really. Like, his metabolism's super fast.
I'm definitely more of a mesomorph. Mm-hmm. I'd say I'm like 80% mesomorph and 20% endomorph.
Well, these things are always changing as well. The somatotypes are always changing for people depending on like how you work your metabolism and how much muscle mass, blah blah blah. But just generally speaking, with PCOS and all the other great things that I genetically have, I put on fat very easily. So I've never understood, maybe for bikini competitors, whatever, it's all right. You don't have to get that shredded to get on stage, quote unquote. But the day I get off stage, like, I'm gonna put on 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's okay for me. But I can't tell you how many people have said, well, you don't need to get so big. You don't have to get that big. And I'm like, bitch, I'm literally not eating any carbs. Like, this is just how my body is.
Yeah.
So just listen to the right
Don't
advice.
take advice from most people in general. Take advice from
people you trust.
Your coach.
Yeah. This is why I like that VJ's my coach, because we're both fatties. And we react to DHTs the same way.
Yep.
Water buffaloes. Water bags. So, for this Puerto Rico wrap-up episode, thank you for joining us. And we will talk to you next time.
Peace out, Boricuas.